And we are back with choosing the right person or you will be screwed. How do I know that? Because I've had excellent, have good, have had poor. And again, it's really, really hard to choose the right person. And I've had that from people writing in saying it's so hard to choose the right person. And I went for ages trying to find the right people. So there's a few things that I look for when I'm choosing an employee. I suppose the obvious ones that all you guys think of is you want somebody ideally young, able, strong, willing, slightly able for technical things, for doing the water pole system or floor cleaning or soft wash or whatever you guys do. So that's kind of the basics of what you guys are afterwards. But funny enough, I found myself, there was, so let me get the average of ages here. I can't really do maths off the top of my head very well. Early 50s, about 50. Could be in trouble if I start naming names here. Middle 40s, 30 and 18. And I've had the kind of spectrum of ages as well. So choosing an employee is really important. So I do look for physical ability. You have to, like, if you can't physically do the job, then there's no point in having that person, no matter how good they are. But what I look for somebody in somebody as well is I look for so much more than what they are physically. Because do you remember what we said in the last episode? So if you're watching this one, you've passed that test. Ka-ching, number 1 is gone. You are ready. We said in the last episode that if you're looking for an employee, that it has to be somebody that is as good as you going off in the van to do certain jobs. So you're looking to make a replica of yourself, but not a replica of yourself at the same time, because that would be bad. You want somebody that can represent your brand wherever you go. So you need somebody, now hopefully they're going to be in your uniform, in your branded van and stuff like that. But what about them as a person? Like, what I love to get, and it's nearly more important to me than anything else, is that I have, well, the office has got messages back from clients that have said, and we've put it on our Facebook page and stuff like that, the guy that came was so professional, he was excellent at his work, a nicer guy you couldn't meet, and so professional, efficient, and did a job perfect. That's what the customer is after. They want a great job done. They want somebody that is trustworthy, that's nice. And like, look, we live in a very visual world and people judge people very quickly. So they need to come over nice. They need to have that sense of charisma about them, that they can talk to customers, they can build a relationship with a customer, because that's what I do when I'm on the road, and that's what I want my guys to do. I want them to be able to upsell to a certain, without being sleazy, but then that all comes back to their personality and their charisma as well, and can they do that in a really nice way by just letting the customer know of different services that we offer. So you want somebody that's able, you want somebody that has a really good personality. I suppose they don't really have to be bubbly and that sort of thing, but just that they can have a nice person, that they're a nice person. Because if they're a nice person, they won't have to put on anything, it'll come completely natural to them. So what you're looking for is somebody that's able, a nice person, willing. So they're all the good things that you're looking for in somebody. So you're looking for loads of good things like that, but you're also looking for bad things in people. Which sounds odd, because it's kind of like, why would you ever want to look for bad? And you want somebody that doesn't have the drive to start something for themselves, I suppose. Now, I suppose, but at the end of the day, do you know what? If they did, like, I have non-compete in my contracts, and I suppose that's something I should have put in the last episode, stuff that you have to be prepared to do. Yeah, so, and I'll do another, maybe I'll do the next video on all of the things that you need for your employee and on stuff that you need to get. So but you want people that at the same time do want to do a certain amount of 9 to 5, and they don't want to start stuff off themselves. So if your employee is asking you loads of questions about, or they hint about doing it themselves in the future. Maybe that's not a bad interview question as well, is where do you see yourself in a certain amount of time? Try and get the gauge on them and see, are they somebody that doesn't want the hassle? Like, I know some of my employees wouldn't have, they're lovely guys, they're intelligent, but they don't have the drive, or they don't have the je ne sais quoi to go out and to start something for themselves, because it takes a lot to do that, and they don't want to do it, and they're happy in their current roles. And then it's my job to keep them happy in their current roles. So you're looking for a nice person, ability, but somebody that does want to stay, because the investment that we make in somebody is huge, with training, and we're at a loss for the first while, so you want to make sure it's somebody that stays. Where to find those people? that can be a tricky one. I have traditionally gone. Now, I know there's agencies out there, and I was at several meetings with a few government agencies and things like that. But what I've gone with so far is people that I know, or people that friends of mine know. And that can be risky, but so far it's not worked out too bad. It's risky if it doesn't work out. It's risky if it works out for that person for the bad. So what can I learn from the people that I have? I have chosen somebody in the past that is fit, able, nice character, but do you remember that technical side? You see, a big part in our job is common sense. And this person wasn't very high on the common sense scale. And so stuff had to be written down, reminded, and common sense is really important. So that person was fine for certain roles, but not for other roles, and so that person, as it was, had decided to do other things with their life anyway, and after maybe 6 months, and that was fine by me. And again, through that time, I wasn't frustrated. I was trying to help the person grow. I was trying to offer them advice. I didn't get frustrated with them, and that person was a younger person, and I don't know, there's probably too much phone and other bits and pieces like that. So that's why I think to maybe steer away, my own personal advice, I would steer away from the very, very young, and stick to somebody slightly older. And I think that comes over with customers more, that an older person has a little bit more charisma and a little bit more personality with customers as well. And of course, those people, it's easier to get them insured on vans and stuff if they're over 25 and all that sort of thing. Yeah, so that's my advice when it comes to look for all those qualities. Look for it in people that you know. Look for it in friends of friends that are out of job and are happy to do that from the very get-go. Start as you mean to go on. So the first day that they come in, contracts for them. Sit down and have a safety meeting with them. Sit down and give them their uniform. Tell them the brand ethos. Even if you do no work the first day, tell them the brand ethos. Tell them where you're going. Tell them what's expected of you. Tell them what you do at a job. Tell them what customers like, dislike, and expect. And start them off from the get-go, because there's nothing worse than trying to introduce all these rules as you go on week by week. Sit them down, tell them what's expected of them, and see are they able for it. And if they're willing, then you have them, even silly stuff like putting emphasis on, having warning signage out and about, adhering strictly to health and safety. Get everything nailed down the first day, and try and do it with somebody that you have that inkling, because in an interview it's so hard. Well, the able side, you could do maybe a little test, that's fair enough. Are they physically able? Do they have any health concerns? Do they look physically strong? Can they do the job? Have they had physical jobs in the past? You can kind of get the just on that. You can probably tell if they're a nice person, but if it's somebody that you know already or a friend knows, it's so you have that bit of background information to their history, what they're like as a person, and you can kind of imagine them in the role. Especially when it came to, for me and secretary, geez, nearly 10 minutes already. Secretary, that was a really important one for me, because you're not looking at ability on the tools, but you're looking at um, before efficiency, before Excel, before CRM, before computer skills. Like, all of those can be taught and are semi-important, but the most important thing with somebody, when I was choosing somebody like that, was their character. And that they were kind of a strong character, that they knew to make arrangements, that they didn't have to be ringing me all the time, that they had a certain independence, I suppose is what I'm thinking of, that they were an independent enough person in their own right. But that if you have one of those, those really funny customers that might ring up, yes you do, don't tell me you don't, you know who well, that they can deal with them nicely, professionally, and that they're not going to, that at all times they're going to be you better than you. That's what you want. You want somebody of better character than you for answering the phone, scheduling, and doing all of that sort of stuff. And again, I knew the person, and there was loads of people that I knew that I didn't choose, and it's because they might have interviewed well, but because I know them a fair while, I know that in dodgy situations or in stressful situations, they might not react badly. They would react badly, sorry. So 11 minutes. I'm going to end this and move on to another video. Click on to the next, scroll down, like, subscribe, next video. All right, bye.